Hi everyone, welcome to Alternavita. Thank you for stopping by and thank you for your time. We are on the third to the end of this book series and in Immune for Life. And I'm probably just going to cover the science because in my experience, that's mostly what you have to do is spend a lot of time convincing people. And so that's the reason for the first half of the book, whereas the second half covers way to incorporate the treatments and components into your daily routine, because that's the only way that you are going to overcome this inherent top three risk factors for chronic conditions, 95% of chronic conditions. So the second part of the book is just how to incorporate these things in the science part of the book into your life. And as you know, the majority of the components are food components, mainly milk components, but other probiotics, prebiotics, oils, which are derived from food products. And I just wanted to give a shout out to a longtime supporter of mine who recently asked me a few questions, and that was regarding supplements. And I gave her one of the supplements that actually does live up to the hype, and it's also derived from a food product, and that is beetroot powder, which helps you produce nitric oxide, and you need nitric oxide to produce interferon, and interferon is extremely important for clearing intracellular organisms, meaning organisms, and cellular debris. So production of interferon is extremely important. So, and beetroot powder is one of the few superfood supplements that actually live up to the hype. But one of the other ones was taurine. Taurine works because it doesn't need any cofactors to work. So that's the short answer about taurine. So along with the basics, like if there are any more in my site, I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but the only other two that I can think of are marshmallow root and slippery elm, and that's because they help coat your intestines as they're healing, and they're two natural substances that help do that as your gut is healing. So there are some extremely bioavailable supplements that are coming out. Magnesium is one, and there's a couple of B vitamins that claim to be very bioavailable, but those are important, but whether they actually live up to the hype, I don't know. And the other new somewhat fattish supplement is methylene blue. Verdict is out on methylene blue, so I'm not convinced that it's more helpful than harmful. like a lot of things, it might help you if you need it, but if you don't need it, it might be harmful. So, and it does have an effect on the gut bacteria. So, I'm on the fence about that newish fad that's out there called methylene blue. So, okay, this chapter is Colostrum Goes Biotech. Why are drug makers turning toward bovine colostrum? And there are a few drug makers that are seeking to patent either patent components in colostrum as drugs, and they're being publicly traded now. So I'll be mentioning one of them. And this all began with diarrheal disease. A lot of people don't remember, but 1900, the leading cause of death in the US were diarrheal disease and or pneumonia. It wasn't cancer, it wasn't diabetes, it wasn't any of the leading causes of death that are out there today. It wasn't heart disease, it wasn't any of that. It was diarrhea and pneumonia. So diarrheal diseases are a leading cause of death and resulting malnutrition globally. So it's worth repeating the top 3 risk factors for chronic conditions are not breastfeeding, food security, meaning quality and lack, and poor sanitation. So hospital-associated diarrheal conditions also contribute to poor health outcomes. And I'm just going to go through, I did not write this post yet, so I'm reading from the PDF. Rotavirus is a leading cause of diarrheal death, including followed by Shigella and Salmonella. Among children under 5 years old, 3 responsible for the most deaths are rotavirus, cryptosporidium, and Shigella. Diarrheal disease, separate from overall diarrheal mortality, includes, there's a lot of them, Campylobacter, enteritis, cryptosporidium, and enteropathogenic E. coli, enterotoxigenic E. coli, ETEC, Salmonella, Shigella, and cholera. The leading risk factors for diarrhea include unsafe water, sanitation, and hygiene, which in turn may result in serious malnutrition syndromes. Diarrheal conditions resultant conditions may also include endotoxemia and hemolytic uremic syndrome. And this condition can be caused by the ingestion of E. coli, ETEC E. coli, producing Shiga-like toxins, and LPS, which are endotoxins. Bovine colostrum ameliorates diarrhea and infection with E. coli and Shiga toxin. So, during malnutrition, endotoxemia impairs the immune cell function, leading to recurrent infections and accelerates the development of AIDS. So a lot of this research, as always, began in Africa and other malnutrition studies. So probiotics and prebiotics prevent diarrheal disease, and colostrum is a prebiotic. And this practice just represents the tip of the iceberg because the potential benefits of probiotic theory promise to be almost limitless. So it's difficult to study when you have to study single strains, and they do not work singly because all organisms have huge range of probiotic strains. but some of them known to be helpful are bifido and lactobacillus. And the identification of additional compounds that will enhance the growth of probiotic organisms, namely milk and more effective and safer prebiotics to allow for true colonization and growth. And colostrum is the premier source of prebiotics, because I'll tell you why in a minute. Antibiotic use is detrimental for long-term outcomes. Exposures to antibiotics early in life, maternally or via the food chain, can have a large effect on the microbiota, disturbing its composition and functionality, which in turn can disrupt gut barrier function and leads to influx bacterial fragments into the blood. As a result, low-grade chronic inflammation and metabolic endotoxemia are produced, affecting host metabolism and insulin resistance. This microbiota alteration in early life has long-lasting effects, including on body weight in adulthood. Other studies have shown there is early exposure to antibiotics is associated with an increased risk of obesity and metabolic disorders later in life. These microbiota are important for homeostasis, the digestive process, energy regulation, short-chain fatty acid production, vitamin synthesis, protection against pathogens, and modulation of the immune system. So bovine colostrum alone can increase colonization of commensal probiotics 52-fold. It survives passage through the gastrointestinal tract, and it benefits the host independent of immune factors. So, I'm going to put that here because number one, this study was released in 2019. Researchers tested the hypothesis that bovine colostrum may influence the intestinal cell surface and in turn the attachment of commensal organisms. So the adherence of several commensal bacteria comprising mainly of bifido, which is the champion colonizer of the infant gut, and the one that is altered in the top risk factors for chronic conditions. It explains how the alteration of bifido and then later alteration of the adult microbiota is then later affected because bifido has to come first. So the adherence of commensal bacteria comprising mainly of bifido was significantly enhanced up to 52-fold for all strains tested, which span species that are found across the human lifespan. So this is just one reason colostrum can help you throughout life. So bovine colostrum results in increased phagocytosis, and it reduces bacterial and viral load in 24 hours independent of immune factors. So that means independent of IgG, IgE, IgA, IgM, and all of that. So this is affecting the innate immune system. Colostrum treatment resulted in rapid increase in phagocytosis, as will whole-fat mammal milk. Reduced bacterial and viral loads were observed in the lungs within 24 hours. Viral load was also reduced when colostrum was introduced intranasally. So, the immune defense mechanisms and maturation of Antigen presenting cells in vitro translates to protection in vivo when the colostrum product is introduced across mucosal membranes. And that includes in the gut and lymphatic system. So, specific probiotics, when used in conjunction with bovine colostrum as a prebiotic, supports their use in diarrheal and resulting conditions such as endotoxemia and hemolytic uremic syndrome. So diarrhea caused by enterotoxigenic E. coli causes significant discomfort and can lead to death through dehydration in young and old people. A significant fraction of the diarrhea suffered by travelers to destinations such as Mexico, Africa, and Southeast Asia is caused by enterotoxigenic E. coli. And again, that's genetically modified. So I show a chart in here of the global burden of diseases in children less than 5 years old. An estimated 10.4 million succumb on an annual basis to diarrheal disease, and it accounts diarrheal caused by gastroenteritis that accounts for 16%, and that's third behind neonatal deaths and mortality caused by pneumonia. So number one is 37% is neonatal deaths. Followed by other infectious and diarrheal conditions and parasitic disease. So I'd also like to say if you suffer from 3 of these chronic risk factors, your chance of making it past age 10 is pretty rare. So when someone has a combined risk factors, that increases the mortality substantially, especially in children. So one of these companies that are developing colostrum-based drugs is called Imuron, and they are looking to treat IBD and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and endotoxemia and various immune-mediated and inflammatory disorders, among them non-alcoholic fatty liver, diabetes, colitis, IBD, IBS, liver fibrosis, and other chronic disorders in which the immune system plays a key role in pathogenesis. These disorders represent areas of growing and unmet medical need, where oral targeted therapy drugs could offer significant advantages due to the lack of absorption and the high safety profile. So these work without having to go through the bloodstream, and they eliminate the need for injections, which injections you'll see on my homepage. They can cause a range of problems, including malignancy, and that's all injections. So antibodies against endotoxins are also contained in the natural spectrum of antibodies from bovine colostrum. And again, bovine colostrum is a living immune system. It's a living supplement. So I always say it's akin to getting a blood transfusion because it's a living supplement. And it would not work if it wasn't a living supplement. This is why it has to be minimally processed. So some other prebiotics that are used. Probiotics, let me go through there. First of all, what they found out about some probiotics. So acidophilus is one, and they're talking about the cause of food poisoning and the resulting toxins from food poisoning, and lactobacillus acidophilus results in less shedding by these bacterial overgrowth organisms and the cause of food poisoning. So those are just two probiotics along with bifido that have been studied. And some other prebiotics are lactulose. This has been used clinically to provide symptomatic relief in severe liver disease. Specifically, lactulose lowers blood ammonia and prevents the development of hepatic encephalopathy. Because bifido and other colonic organisms metabolize lactulose, colonic contents become acidic and conversion occurs, which serves to draw ammonia from the blood to the colon, and then it's excreted in the feces. So I also forgot to say that lactose helps prevent the formation of H2S, and that's another very toxic compound that occurs in gut problems, namely SIBO. So that's another prebiotic. Subjects receiving FOS or inulin per day had higher hydrogen and methane outputs in their breath than did subjects fed sucrose. Short-chain fatty acids did not change significantly with those two prebiotics. Raffinose ingestion, a naturally occurring sugar consisting of one molecule each of glucose, galactose, and fructose, resulted in a decrease in fecal pH, an increase in short-chain fatty acids, and an increase in lactobacillus. So the next chapter is colostrum, the wonder drug. But an overview, all of these studies began due to malnutrition and diarrheal diseases, which were plagued many people throughout the world, throughout history. And they were the leading cause of death in 1900, even in the United States. Diarrhea and pneumonia, they continued to be problematic in other countries such as Africa. So diarrheal diseases were always on the front burner for research, and colostrum is one wonder drug that helps prevent and correct and ameliorate diarrheal diseases, including those that cause traveler's diarrhea. So, and as I showed, it helps increase commensal bacteria throughout your life. In my humble opinion, everyone should be taking bovine colostrum as a supplement, and as you saw, it increases phagocytosis and decreases viral load, so-called viral load. I'm not going to go into that, but so-called viral load. In 24 hours, independently of immune factors by working through the innate immune system. So that's just one of the wonders of colostrum, and as a prebiotic a probiotic. And as you'll see, colostrum has many more components that, and some that haven't even been found or even studied yet. So we have a long, long way to go before learning all about colostrum. But those are just some of the benefits you'll find in the book, and ending with the ever important diarrheal disease conditions, of which SIBO is one, diarrheal disease and resultant malnutrition, known as SAM. And that in turn, those top 3 chronic risk factors in turn help set the stage for 95% of chronic conditions later in life. And as you'll see in the pie chart I'm going to share in this post, just how much of a toll those top 3 risk factors take on specifically children. So, okay, thanks everyone for your time. I'll see you next time. Don't forget your bovine colostrum. If you care to add the oils, if you care to add the, mainly the oils. If you care to add other supplements, the ones that I am specifically aware of that live up to the hype are beetroot powder and taurine. And I gave the reasons for that in the beginning. And they are primarily food-based supplements. So, okay, we'll see you next time. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks. Bye.